Hit the button.
Welcome to the Scaled Builders Guild.
And welcome to Harleydesigns.
It's Wednesday. This is not episode 73. This is episode 74.
74. Did you forget to update yours?
I did. I changed the title, but then
That's
I didn't
good.
change the episode number.
Episode 74.
Darn it. Welcome, everyone. Let us know where you're checking in from and how many orange trucks you have.
Perfect. Oh, what kind of fruit-based fermented beverage are you drinking today?
You'd be surprised to hear that this is just a Belgian moon. Mango.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
I couldn't hold it in. I was like, it's just a Belgian moon, Josh. It's a regular everyday old beer. Fruit in it.
Yeah. Oh, it is the start of a hot week here. Gunner checking in. He says, wrong damn shirt, Josh. Gunner, funny story.
He had the shirt on and he showed me the shirt and I laughed out loud. And then he was so concerned about what other people would think of him that he took the shirt off.
I looked like Robin Hood. Because should we just show it now?
It basically, he had a strap, like a crossbody purse.
Gunner
but
made this shirt.
It's got a Dremel in the holster.
It's a Dremel in a holster. However, when I'm wearing it, it's here. And it just looks like I've got a quiver on my back. Or I've got a purse on. Or some sort of really weird Girl Scout.
Yeah, you would make a very weird Girl Scout. That is correct.
This weird bearded Girl Scout.
Not the ugliest one, but
I think it would have played better if it was not cut off in.
Well, yeah, that's probably an event shirt.
That's an event shirt.
Yeah. An event shirt that I'm at, so I can explain the shirt to everybody. Because otherwise, people are like, I guess that man really likes Dremels.
Yeah.
Which is odd, because I'm brought to you by Dremel. Not brought to you by, because this is not a sponsored event.
Not a sponsor.
Sponsored by Dremel, not a sponsor.
One day.
One day. We're fingers crossed.
I woke up this morning, as I do many mornings, and
tell me more.
I jumped on to the YouTube, checked your budget build video, as mine also came out this morning. Week 2 budget build with the SCX24s.
If you haven't watched it, it's a good one.
And of course, Matt decided to create some sort of odd tab over thing out of some layer. And of course, it took X-Acto blade cuts to cut, and I was just like, oh, I took a Delta flight to the comment section of that one so that I could see all of the Dremel comments.
There were a few comments about Dremels. There were more comments about how that is basically just a forward control. And I was like, yes and no. Yes, Land Rover made a forward control cab over style truck before. That was made out of the 2A series, not a Series 3. So there isn't really one quite like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't matter.
It's still,
they both look ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care if they made it or not. That looks ridiculous.
To the average person like Josh, the most average person I know, hard to tell the difference. Yeah, but it's proving to be a very fun build off so far. I am enjoying it more than any SCX24 build I've ever done. Okay. That's not saying much because I don't think you've made a lot.
I've never done one.
Yes, exactly. Evil Tom, thanks for the $1. Very appreciated of that. Very appreciated of that.
But yes, actually, I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying.
Yeah, it's super fun.
When you base a SCX24 thing around this type of series, I enjoy it more and more because it adds some extra elements to it, and I'm having fun.
Yeah,
of course,
you got to use your noodle on this one
it's
because I didn't know there was overdrive available, so I learned something today.
there you go.
Hashtag I learned something today.
Yeah,
I'm sure you didn't know anything about Land Rovers, so
yeah,
you still don't.
yeah. Unfortunately, I learned another thing about Land Rovers. Well, Series 3 is actually they didn't make like they look the same. It's the
Well,
same thing.
to the like I said, to the average Josh, they do look the same, but to me, they don't. Tonight's a props night. It's all about props tonight.
Props.
Hey, Gunnar, thanks for the $2.99. Yours will be in the mail Friday. Thanks.
Yes.
That's great.
Mike, thank you, sir. $5. Hey, Matt and Josh, for the SCX20 build off, can you try Mofo double barrel shocks? I don't know anything about
the SCX24 build off.
I think I already actually I possibly have several options for shocks already here. And
yes, I'm sure you do. I'm going to start testing stuff out too, Josh. Something might make it on there, and here's a question for you. And this is a valid question.
If you bought it and you used one part, all of the parts still count.
Oh darn! So it can't. Okay, because by the math, I only used 5.25 cents of this entire truck.
Oh, I saw that comment in your comments, and I was just like, I would have absolutely used that trick, but since Matt already put it in video, I can't do it.
Yep. Josh is a master of finding loopholes to things that I don't think about.
To my own rules that I wrote.
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to audition parts that have been given to me, because those were free. So, how's that work out for you? These tires were free.
Yeah.
No. This deadbolt was free. So this whole thing starts at negative $119.
Yeah. That's I got more parts for it yesterday.
Oh, are we doing mail call? Fine, we're doing mail call.
We doing mail call already? Okay.
What? I don't know. You were going to show things.
I've got a small pile of things somehow that just all came in the last few days.
Yeah, it's funny. I got 5 or 6 packages yesterday. Oh, and that mystery package today wasn't for me.
What? It was for Rebecca?
No, it wasn't for Rebecca either.
Oh.
What happened was UPS phoned me a few days back, and they're like, you owe some duty. You get duty and charges for import taxes and stuff. And I was like, fine, I'll pay it. And I paid it. He gave me the tracking number. And I looked up the tracking. I was like, oh, great. It's going to be here on Wednesday. Perfect for mail call. And then the notification, it's been delivered successfully. So I go outside. It's not there. And I call.
Was it more pants?
Yeah, no. Those got replaced. This time, what happened was the shipper in China got the phone number wrong for whoever was actually receiving this package. And they called me.
Okay.
And I was like, happy to pay those fees. And then I paid the fees, and then the package got delivered to the proper person. So I had to phone UPS to get my money back. I was like, that's not me.
Oh, that's good.
They're paying me back. But very strange, because I was like, I don't think so. Next time, if you want money from me, just call me up and tell me that there's a package on the way and I owe $40.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually
sounds like a good scam.
That could really that's exactly right. That does sound like a legitimate someone be like, I have a package coming that I owe some. Okay.
All right. Cool. I don't remember this.
Like,
what is it?
You have a $500 package coming to you that you owe $30. I'm like, okay.
I'll pay $30 to get a $500 thing. Why not?
Yeah. Ooh, how to scam a YouTuber.
Yeah. Or how to scam somebody who's a compulsive shopper.
Yeah, that too. That too.
Okay, so let's do a quick mail call. Get through all your junk.
Yes.
And because we have a special guest tonight.
Yeah, we have a guest on tonight. Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns is one of the former
founding.
He was
founding
founder of Axial, former president of Axial. Then after he left, he was there through the beginning of Axial, obviously, the Hobby Code days, then the Horizon days. Then he left Horizon and he was the president of Redcat for a while.
Yeah.
And he left Redcat in 2020.
Now he's starting his own thing.
Yeah. Now they're starting. So we're going to talk to him because he should been in the industry a very long time and always interesting stories. So mail call real quick.
I'll answer this question from Chinooks. He's thinking of getting an Element Night Runner. Would you say it's worth it for the money? I'd say it's pretty good value for the money for sure. Getting a lot of accessories and a lot of bits that you probably wouldn't get. It is an IFS truck, so it's a trail truck.
Who's that truck for? Like,
I think it's for people who are enthusiasts of a certain brand that enjoy crew cab pickup trucks with IFS.
Because
I would rate it. He wants a rating out of 10. I'm going to give it a strong 7.8.
For somebody like you.
Yeah, for somebody who's looking for a trail truck. Don't be like that, Josh. Don't be rude.
When you say trail truck.
Trail truck. It's not a rock crawler. We know that. It's 155s on a 3.885 tire. It's got IFS.
3.85 tire, IFS with a 12.8-inch wheelbase.
Right. It's a trail truck. It's for driving on the trails. The odd rock you can crawl over.
It is not going to perform.
Not going to perform like some of its other competitors in the same sort of category. No.
Will it?
Don't be rude.
Or that half track behind you do better?
It's going to do better than a half track.
Okay.
It's also going to do better than a steam truck.
Oh, you sure?
Yeah.
That steam truck is solid axle with bigger tires.
I'm
just saying, like, yes, I'm not a fan of the IFS.
I know you're not.
A 3.8-inch tire.
It'll definitely outperform that CEN truck that you built.
No, I'm not going to take that away from you.
Yeah.
You know what? I might. That sounds like a good challenge.
We can make that happen.
I would be. So now I didn't catch your live yesterday. You took that and you were trying out some different size wheels and tires.
I did. I ended up going back to the stock wheels and tires for now. But I did add a whole bunch of Night Customs accessories. The inner fenders are in there now. The front grille and the headlight buckets, which are pretty great.
Is the body not on?
No, it's not. It's just sitting on there.
Okay. I was going to say there's a big gap that I did not see.
No, because I started printing interior parts.
Oh.
Yes. And there's a new skid plate on there too, which I actually quite like.
Kind of fill that gap in a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Smooth it out too, so it launches itself over things. But yeah, it's a good trail truck, definitely, and I think it looks really good.
Did you try any larger tires on it?
I did. I went all the way up to what did I put on there? I think the KO2s from Proline, the 4.75s or
4.75s,
419s or whatever. Not the 475. They don't do a 475 in the KO2. 419s, I think, and they were pretty big.
A 419 was big.
Yeah.
Just needs some trimming type thing?
Yeah, but I don't know that I would trim this body. Not this one anyway.
Gotcha.
But it's definitely a good looking truck. And I think that, they do give you a front axle if you did want to start looking at doing a sass on it. So you could sass it up, trim those fenders, and then got to sass it.
And it includes the inner axle shafts and all that stuff?
No. Enough to get you started. You're going to need to buy some extra parts. But for $429, I mean, it looks pretty great. I would still, honestly, I said it in the review, needs an interior, needs inner fenders from the factory. Good idea to try to figure out a new way to get rid of those body clips too. That would be really nice as well. Otherwise, solid truck.
Right.
Solid trail
So,
track.
yeah, I mean, the base underneath same thing as before. So it's gonna
Not
the
much
rest of the
has changed
drivetrain
there.
we know it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So it's just the tiny
Exactly.
tire stuff with that long.
Long
wheelbase.
story short,
Long story.
Josh doesn't like it.
I don't. Yeah. I mean, I like Toyota Tacomas.
So this is not a Toyota Tacoma.
Oh yeah, right, never mind.
Okay.
I mean, I would like that truck if it was a Toyota Tacoma.
Hey, if Toyota's watching, this is not a Toyota.
So, yes, mail call stuff.
Yeah, go.
Another cliffhanger body.
Which one? Oh, cliffhanger. Yep. Okay. What are you comping? You comping? Doing some comping?
Another Power Wagon body. This one's got to go to Moose Jaw.
What are you doing with get over the Power Wagon? It's done.
Power Wagon's going on the Power Wagon, the red Power Wagon that I have there, so that I can swap that body out because the Magpul one, so I can get that sold.
Got it.
But I need
hello,
Moose Jaw
Mr. James Knight. Hello. Wes, I'm having a Belgian Moon mango. Oh, hey, Tim. He'd put the IFS in the rear and solid axle in the front. I like that idea.
A tiny Betty, 124 Betty.
Oh, are you okay? Hold on here. Is that for the build off? Are you painting it yourself?
Wave it by it like, oh, you want this? You want this?
Are you painting that yourself?
I don't know if it's for the build off or not.
You just okay, whatever.
So let's see.
If you're not painting it, you got to pay for it. You got to pay for that paint job. I will not let that slide.
I've got a bunch more of the SCX24 parts, which we don't need to go over all of those because that would
go through this.
Partially spoil that.
Okay.
Some Traxxas big bores.
Traxxas big bores. You must be camping. Hey, all right.
Yes. Matt, you got yours last week or the week before?
Yeah, it's been here for a little while. Yeah.
The FMS Jimny. I drove it around a little bit, had some fun with it. I'm impressed at many things, honestly.
Right? I'm a little surprised to hear you say that, but
I mean, it's got the same size tires as the that new Element.
Zing. That's pretty good.
Zing.
I will accept that.
But it's got 2-speed and light controller and I'm honestly really surprised at this little thing.
For what you would pay for that, you get a lot of stuff. It's expensive, but the hard body is where you're spending most of your money.
But it is 1/12 scale.
I know the scaling is a bit strange. It doesn't really look good.
I wish that it was $300 and 10th scale.
9th scale, you mean?
Whatever. Yes, that.
Yes.
But I'm impressed already.
Cool. That's great. Nice one.
I got one. I could have just worn this over the shirt from CarryAll RC. And they put a bunch of smart ass little stickers on it as well, or patches.
Yeah, cool.
But it's their sling packs.
Yeah.
So, and it's got all of their stuff in it as well.
I like it.
First aid kit.
Yeah.
For when I fall. Which I did at Axial Fest. Had a pretty good one on my leg. Looks like they just kind of got some other random stuff in there. Their little magnetic 3D printed parts tray thing that Velcro's on. Shop rack. Kind of cool. So
DK wants
to know if it's a fanny pack that goes diagonally.
So booby pack.
Yeah, perfect.
DK wants to know if it has room for your lipstick. Whoa, careful.
Didn't see anything. Another set of SCX10 straight axles.
Sweet.
There you go.
Nice. All right. Okay, let's get through this real quick. First things first, 949 Designs sent me a surfboard.
Surfboard.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Pushrod 3D 949 Designs sent me a surfboard. He wanted to see if that would look good on the Bronco, which I think it will. It's a little tiny bit short, maybe, but
the Bronco.
Yeah, the Axial Bronco.
Oh, the Axial Bronco. Okay, I get it. Seems like it's almost a shippy item.
Yeah, actually.
BT.
Not too bad.
Thank
BT.
you, sir.
Thanks for the $10. Evening to you as well. That would actually look pretty good on there. Is there a lot of surfing in Oregon?
Doesn't that VW thing and surfing kind of go together?
I don't know. I got some. You're gonna love this part. JEC Racing. I got some adapters here. You know what these are for, right?
They are brass somethings.
They're brass leaf spring adapters for Curry axles.
It's just all the things.
It's all the things you don't like. Well, you like Curry axles, but you don't.
It's just you're just trying to just.
Yeah, I'm trying to get your goat, and I think it's working. Bauhaus RC sent me a whole bunch of new 3D printed bits and pieces that they're doing. These are the nice laser sintered prints. These are not nice FDMs. So we've got a multi-purpose skid, whether this be for an SCX10 or an Element style skid. We've got a low CG battery tray for the Element Enduro.
Nice.
Got a low CG battery tray for the SCX24, so that might come in handy. And then we got some bump stops for the Element Enduro IFS. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, limit that flex a little more.
Yes, exactly. They also sent along some of their Helios batteries, so I got a new 3700 3S pack. Nice. And then some comp size batteries. You might get a kick out of this. An 850 milliamp 3S tiny box.
Those come in handy, actually. Yes, that's a good size.
I know. Little Guy Racing Parts sent me some of these tires that you had last week.
Now those would look even better next to that Land Rover.
Oh my god, they're big. They're big tires.
They are enormous tires in comparison to like the stockers.
Yeah, they do look good. I'm excited about those for sure. So, Sam's Garage, thanks for the $2 Australian redos. Scale Metal Supplies also sent along, this is pretty interesting. It's a wider track, or a set of wider tracked out dog bone universals for the IFS system. So it'll stance it out a little bit. For your Bronco? This is going to be very helpful for that Bronco that I'm still working on. But very cool stuff from Scale Metal Supplies. And finally, I got some Super Swamper TSL boggers for the Bronco because I really wanted to use those deep dish wheels from Ram RC. I think it just looks awesome.
Oh my god.
Look at the size of those things. I'm just kidding. I'm not actually going to leave them on here. I just wanted to put them. Yeah, because I saw your face. You're like, oh, Matt's gone crazy. There'd be a little tiny bit of rubbing, I think.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Like, all of the rubbing.
I mean, those are massive tires.
They are massive. They're like 5.4 inches tall. For a 1.9, it's a big ass tire.
Exactly.
But I got them just for the wheels. That's literally the only reason I bought them.
I get that. That actually makes sense.
They do look awesome.
Full Louisiana, Alex.
Southside RC, thanks for the $4.99, and the bird asking me how's it going. It's going good.
I was actually waiting for one more package that was supposed to show up today for my Bronco as well.
Really?
I was really looking forward to coming.
The light kit, it's pretty great.
The what? Oh, I have the light kit. That is already here. No, this was a 14-pound package for my Bronco. So
holy cow.
Yes.
That's a lot.
I've got the autism awareness crawl coming up, not this weekend, but the following weekend.
Very
and
nice.
The TRX 4000 needs to be ready for that event.
Oh no.
Yes, it does. So I got a new motor I have an ESC for it. I got a new servo for it.
How many pounds or ounce inches is it?
It's like, it's got to be up near that 2,000 mark.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
So for both, I have a lot of work. I have a lot of work to do in general. But I talked to Holmes. I was just like, hey, here's what I've got, and I need a motor. So what are you thinking? And he got me squared away there. And we got everything coming. So I'm quite excited, but I'm also quite scared.
You're still going to melt stuff.
I know. I'm not sure what.
I'm going to say drive shafts.
Yeah,
drive shafts are going to give out.
I thought about that as well. I need to try and get those upgraded. And then I haven't got the new axle shafts in there yet. And I
Stabby Josh, thanks for the $5.
So, getting a few of those things done in time is definitely on the list. But
this is next week or the weekend following next?
The weekend following this weekend. So,
yeah. For kicking Josh's butt with the cab over SCX24. It was definitely a moonshot for sure. I was it was going for the.
I sent you a photo of just something that I was working on that I didn't end up going with, and then you sent me that photo, which I thought 100% was a joke. I thought you were just holding up random things together and be like, I can do that too. And
I can put. Because I sent him the picture of just I hadn't cut it at the time. I just had the Land Rover body, and he sent me a picture basically like this, and I sent him the same photo, and I'm glad that he thought it was a joke. That's amazing. I was just like,
okay, funny guy. And
so if we're doing things, then okay,
yeah, if we're just being ridiculous,
you win.
Yeah, and it paid off.
Yeah, it's proving to be quite popular. It's thumbnails, guys. That's all it is. Thumbnails.
You do great at that. Incredible. So should we? It's 6:30. Let's
get him in. Let's get Jeff Johns on here. Set this up here. Stand by for a moment, everyone, and get your questions ready because I've got a few.
Adding.
Okay. See if it works here.
There we go. Hold on just a second.
Hold on a second.
I have two of Matt right now.
It's never enough. I see Jeff. He's all set up on my end. I'm just moving. I'm moving Josh around. Jeff, how are you? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right, there he is. Welcome to the show. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, yes.
I'm getting Matt back because I lost him when I added Jeff.
Oh, nobody. Yeah, you should probably get me back on there. Jeff,
fixed.
Welcome. It's been I haven't seen you, I don't think, in person since, gosh, I want to say 2018, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. It was Axial Fest.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see your face again. You look well.
You too.
And
Josh, good to see you.
Yeah, it's like I said, yeah, Axial Fest would have been the last time that we would have ran across each other. 2018. You've been busy.
Yes, you have.
So.
Yeah, got a new venture going, and it's pretty exciting to be back in the industry. I got the new venture, which is Rebel RC, and what we're doing with Rebel RC is it's basically a retail store and then also e-commerce store.
Ah, fantastic.
So, they have 2 locations for retail, and what we're trying to do is connect with more of the full-size off-road enthusiasts, and get them familiar with the hobby, connected with the hobby, because our products will be retailed through Rebel Off-Road's facilities. Their locations, retail locations. Right now, there's the one in Laguna Hills, California, and then there'll be one soon in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that they had. I've followed Rebel, the full-size off-road, for a long time, and I mean, even for people who have been like around RC for a long time, Jeff, you've been friends with Bond from Rebel for a long time, correct?
Oh yeah, for a very long time.
Rebel has been on like sticker sheets of Axial cars going way back.
Oh yeah, they're part of the original SCX10 Jeep project. So yeah, there's a lot of history there, and the owner of Rebel Off-Road, Bond Gilmer's an RC enthusiast himself, so it's really nice to have a partner like that, connection like that.
I've met Bond a couple of times at Axial Fest, in fact, and he brought some of his full-size rigs that were always pretty awesome to see.
Oh yeah, they've got, speaking of cab overs, they've got a pretty awesome full-size, just semi pre-runner looking overlander that's pretty amazing.
And were they responsible for building the inspiration for the SCX10 Jeep that you have, or do you still have that Jeep?
Oh yeah, I still have it. It's a little bit different right now, so I changed a few things on it. But yeah, basically it was a collaboration based upon getting different partners in the full-size community to be part of it. And then Rebel helped us with that, with connecting with some of those connections, along with Scott G's assistance and his networking. And then Rebel did the build pretty much for it. So it was a great collaboration there for sure.
People that aren't, Matt referred to it as the SCX10, like it's actually Jeff's actual Jeep JK that has has the SCX10 license plate on it, like the miniature. But yeah, it was the version of that. Did you know Bond before Rebel, or did you that kind of get that relationship started?
No, I didn't. I knew, with another company. They worked for him and his brother, where I partnered with Outlaw Off-Road, and that's when I first met him, got to know him from there. And then he ventured off, created his own company, which is Rebel Off-Road, focusing primarily on Jeeps. And then now they're expanding, not just in the Jeeps, but they're expanding to other vehicles. They're going to be doing stuff with a new Bronco, Toyotas. So they're growing pretty rapid.
That's fantastic.
And they have a kind of bumpers, sliders, tire carriers, and we'll be doing scale versions of those components too in the future.
And that was what I was going to ask. Like at this point, so you guys have stood up the website rebelrc.com.
Yeah, rebel-rc.com.
Rebel-rc, yeah. And you guys have that website's live, and it's got it looks like the inventory's live on it.
Correct. What we have right now, we have a variety of different types of products, primarily like 1/10 scale vehicles and crawler, scale trail, monster trucks. And those are the areas that we're going to be focusing on in the future, as far as primarily there's off-road style vehicles. And if there's other niches that we're able to get into to grow, then definitely we'll have that too. But the primary focus for us is to be able to support the community. And what we want to do is basically similar to what you guys are doing with all your custom builds and your how-tos and teaching people how to do custom builds. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be offering how-tos, how to do custom builds through our blog. And then what we're going to do is also offer the parts that are a part of that custom build for the customer to buy, so they can buy and do the build themselves. And then we're also going to offer the product completely built if they don't have the time to do the build, that they can buy too.
Oh wow!
So it's
that's
just
pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's another way to get more people involved in the hobby, and also to have fun with it too.
Right, and that's always sort of been the thing with the full size world. I always find that if you show them that there is a smaller RC version or an option to kind of have sort of like a mirrored, smaller miniature version of the thing they already have, it's like that's instant. They're in.
Right. And that's like Ben in here. He had just bought one of the Rebel mid-height rear racks for his Jeep Gladiator, which so that's what I was thinking as well. I'm just like, well, I wonder if Rebel RC is going to start trying to replicate some of those options for, the vehicles that those are available for.
Most definitely. But it takes time, of course. The first step is for us to just get the site up, get the retail location stocked up. We're still working on trying to carry other brands. And then also expanding out to get develop some partnerships with some of these smaller up-and-coming brands that are more customization type of parts. So a lot of the parts and things that you guys promote also. So pretty excited.
That is really cool, man. That is a great
and a lot of effort.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's a lot of work, but the good thing, as you guys know, it's fun. Get to work with great people within the industry itself. So that's what's really exciting and motivating.
And you're not exactly unfamiliar with that. So can you run through your RC career history at this point? Because it's longer than either of ours for sure.
Well, it goes way back. I started with HPI, and it's kind of ironic. Back in the days where there was no real internet and there wasn't LinkedIn or Indeed or anything, I was replying to a job posting that was basically a newspaper ad. And I thought it was actually an automotive company. So I went into HPI, did the interview, and it was for a purchasing position because that was the area of my expertise at the time. And realized, hey, it's an RC company. I'm like, well, that's great. That'd be fun too. So got involved there and did the interview thing. And then from there, the next steps were just basically got hired on in the company, and I was able to grow within HPI and help them a lot with different things. Started purchasing, then helped out with implementing a number of different processes and procedures with inventory control, helped out with implementing new systems to help manage project management side of things, and I got involved with R&D, and then it got to the point at HPI where time for a change, and I was actually found a position outside the industry, and then the primary supplier for HPI at the time, I contacted them because I helped them grow along with Jason Deering to become primary supplier for HPI, one of the bigger suppliers in the industry. And they wanted to invest in an idea, had to start a new business. So they helped with investing to start Axial. And then started Axial from there. A gentleman from HPI came along with me, Leroy Cuff, who helped out with sales. And then we started off, with beadlock wheels, and then we did the nitro engines. And then got into a segment that was an up-and-coming segment, didn't have a lot of support, and that was more of the rock crawling segment. And we got in with RCC, and then started to network a bit with other companies, and went to a few events, got familiar with the people and understanding of what the customers were doing with the products, and then we're able to develop the CX10. The AX10 was the first vehicle, and then that's the history from there. And then we grew into the SCX10, the Yeti, and a variety of other different products.
Right.
So
what year did you start with HPI?
HPI was, I believe it was 98, I think. Yeah.
And you were because you guys started Axial in 2005?
Correct.
Yeah. So, how long were you between HPI and then creating Axial?
I left HPI in May, actually right in 2000. No, it was the end of the year in 2004, and then started Axial, officially became public in 2005.
Gotcha. So not too long outside before you decided to get back in.
Exactly. Well, yeah, I knew that was the direction we were going.
Oh, gotcha.
As soon as we left HPI. So, but yeah, it's been a great ride. After Axial, obviously there was acquisitions there with Hobbyco and Horizon. Then after that, went work for with Redcat for a year, and then after that left the industry, and then saw that there was a potential opportunity. There's a gap there that needed to be filled, and started Rebel RC.
Yeah, that's so how long have you guys been kind of planning to, or been thinking of? I know Rebel's been
around
and into RC
for a while, right?
Oh yeah, Well, basically, while I was at Axial, we would supply Rebel with RC vehicles to sell to their customers. Um, as you guys mentioned, they attended Axial Fest a number of times, and we went with them to their events and supported them at their events. So there was a good relationship there and correlation. And what ended up happening was Bon and I were sitting around one night having a couple cocktails and just started talking, and one thing led to another, and then we ended up starting Rebel RC, and George came along also, and he's helping us with getting the brand up and going too. So we have pretty good experience level in regards to the full size, and then obviously RC too. So it's a good mix.
You said Scott came with to help with it?
George Kane, I'm sorry.
George Kane. I thought you meant Scott. Yeah. Too many similar names that we
Right? Jeez.
It's the I mean, because it's kind of, the RC industry is kind of a small world.
It is.
Oh, it is.
So, it's like you've worked for almost all of them now. Maybe Associated, to me, Atraxis, right? Those are the only ones that are kind of outside that umbrella that you haven't been. So with Hobbyco and Horizon, both while under Axial there, that was, you went through a roller coaster of changes, and
yeah, it was pretty crazy.
And so if you were in HPI during like the 98 time, like the Savage release was that time period in RC when the Savage kind of reigned. I can't imagine what that was like at that business at that time.
It was pretty amazing, and it was interesting because Atraxis had the T-Max for so long there, and there was no real competition for them. And gentleman was the marketing manager at the time, Kent Clausen, kept pushing internally within HPIs, gotta do monster truck. What ended up happening is kind of restructured R&D a little bit, and that project was already in the works when we did the restructuring with the R&D department. And then we had one designer on that project, and then it got to the point where it was taking a little too long. So what we did is we basically put as many people on the project as we could, pulled all of our top designers in, got them working on the project. Everybody did different sections, and then we worked really hard together with the team that we had and put together, did thorough testing, and then got a great product to market. And the timing was pretty good for us. It really helped HPI grow at that point in time. But yeah, it was a great project to be part of, and a lot of good people were part of that project. People are still in the industry. But yeah, that was definitely a historical project. And that's why I've been lucky through my career to be part of projects like that. I've been a number of HPI projects, obviously a lot of Axial projects, even Robotronic projects, as far as when we first started Axial, helping them out with some projects, and then Redcat, and there's been some projects with Hobbyco helped out with, and then obviously Horizon. So it's been a good experience and worked with a lot of great people, learned a lot.
And Jeff,
that's a great part.
Do you hang on to like a model? Do you have one of these, like everything that you worked on or were a part of? Do you have one in your personal collection still?
Yeah, I have a garage full of cars.
That's great.
Yeah, kids keep yelling at me. You gotta organize that out there.
It's like a personal museum. You can just have you can charge admission and people can just walk through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I built that one back in 2008. And, yeah.
Even if it was just kind of the ones that were big industry impacts, like being there during the Savage days, the 5B days. Were you there for that?
Yep.
Oh man,
I was there at the beginning. I wasn't there at the final part. I was part of the ideation and then some of the development. But it was really great for me to see how they were able to push that project out to market and get it to grow. So
that's pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, I have one of those in my garage. I have some option parts to put on it. But,
you still haven't got around to that?
No.
You might find, Jeff, that's actually gone up in a considerable amount of value. You could probably turn a pretty profit on that. I'm sorry to interrupt all this. I'm trying to flip your screen and I can't for the life of me do it. I know that for me, your logo's backwards, and I just wanted to try to fix that.
That's not good.
I fixed it on mine, of course.
I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. So
right click, transform, flip horizontal.
It's not working, Josh.
Oh,
I know what the menu is.
It's too bad for you.
Yeah.
I think it's probably because you're in Canada.
That's what it is. It's because it has to go around the whole country. Yeah, it's fine. Everybody,
you pay your duties. Maybe that's
that's it. I paid someone else's duty, not my own. So early days of Axial. How did you guys how does it even begin? Like, how do you go, okay, this is the market we're going to go after? Was it just, did you see what the enthusiasts were doing, what everybody else was trying to do, and you just said, we can do this better?
No, what we were looking for is differentiation. We wanted to be different because at that point in time in the industry, everybody was just doing Me Too product. You had a leader in the industry, everyone would just copy that person or that manufacturer. So there's like hundreds of buggies on the market and truggies, monster trucks. And what we did is we did research and looked into what were new and up and coming niches. And that's what we focused on. And we fell into the crawling side.
Saw all my posts on RCC and was just like, you know what? This guy's got it. No.
Definitely it's mostly whatever Josh does, don't do that. So surprisingly, you still managed to have some success. I don't know how that happened.
Because before you guys had got the AX10 off the ground, which was what really changed, kind of created this market. We were using Clodbuster and TXT axles, and then the TLT came out, and we were starting to use those quite a bit. But the AX10 was such it
was a game changer.
Well, there was the PTI had the monster truck kit that they kind of tried to
Goliath
change to a crawler. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was a terrible unit. So bad
because there was nothing out there for them to convert or use it. So.
I think even a more interesting question for me was, how did you land on Jeep as a licensee? Like, how did you guys, I know, it's sort of like the typical off-roader, but you hadn't really seen a lot of that sort of thing before. So how did that sort of come about?
Well, there was a couple of things there. We did a lot of research to determine what would be the most iconic vehicle. And then on top of that, what ended up happening was going to lunch one day with Rodney Wills and Scott G. And I had a Jeep at the time, a TJ, and we were driving in that. And I thought, I gotta get something bigger. This just doesn't work with wheeling. It's not the right wheelbase. Issues with the whole family fitting in and stuff. So, and then those two guys were like, what? Like, you got to get it. You got to get a JK. All right, we're going to work this out. We're going to do a JK project. And so then that's really kind of where I kind of stirred it on and did all the research. And then from there, we worked on figuring out how we're going to get licensing in. Both Rodney and Scott G had an idea of a way we could kind of backdoor in to get licensing without having to go through the normal channels. They knew that a few of the higher level executives in the engineering department would be at Easter Jeep Safari. And so what we did from there is we tried to figure out where they were at and try to connect with them. And we had a vehicle built at the time based upon the AX10 and SAX10. And then we found where their hotel was, and then we just parked and went over and started driving the RCs in front of their hotel. And they came out, we ended up talking to them, developed a relationship with them. They drove the vehicles, they were all over it, and ended up becoming good friends with them and hung out with them a bit through that event and then future events from there. So it worked out really well. We even had the opportunity to go visit their facility in Auburn Hills, which was amazing. It's like the second largest building in the U.S. The first is the Pentagon. I mean, this place was huge, and they had hair salons in there, subways, and it was really cool. And we got to go in the museum and everything they had there, which I believe it's closed to the public now. So it was an amazing experience.
I can't. This is kind of blowing my mind a little bit that the sort of the origin and sort of the biggest sort of like early success that Axial had was all based on you guys playing in someone's parking lot.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of like I know enough to get in the general vicinity.
I'll be close to those guys.
Now and that was to get the 2012 Jeep JK.
Correct.
Now, but before that, you guys had released. There was only the CF100 SCX10.
The Dingo too, right?
We didn't have any licensed vehicles. They were
That's
there
right.
was
There was the Dingo as well. But yeah, I mean the AX10 was a
huge success,
wild success. The SCX10 was a huge jump. Previous to the SCX10, like we would take AX10s and convert them with some scale chassis that had become available, but there was no, with the exception of things like the Bruiser, or that was really there was really
more my style. That's
right.
The sort of thing.
There was nothing really available at the time that was that type of option. So, but yeah, I imagine was the 2012 did it just sell, head and shoulders above the previous options? Was it just that?
Yes.
That much of it. Oh, the Honcho too. That's right. The Honcho came out before the JK.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing with what happened with the SCX10, we first launched it as a kit and with a body that really wasn't intended for the vehicle. It was a body that we used for a monster truck. It just to help with saving costs, but it didn't do that well. So then we went ahead and put another body with it, and that's where Honcho came into play, and that really helped with the sales and helped grow the popularity in that product. But definitely the SCX10 did take off faster than the AX10. AX10 took some time, and the reason why it took time getting people to understand the product and how to use it and what it was for. And that was the biggest challenge. It took about, I'd say, close to almost a year. What really helped us, though, was a buyer of our hobby code, Carrie Hogan, really bought into it initially in the beginning, and that's what really helped us get the AX10 going.
I can imagine that most of the questions would have been centered around, well, how fast does it go? Because that's the question that I think every RC enthusiast asks.
How high can it
jump?
And that's what,
and you're like, well, it goes really slow and it does not jump at all. And they're like,
we were coming out of the T-Max Savage days. Like that was still it. And not that those days aren't still now, but like people understand the scale side a little. And even the AX10, it wasn't it looked like this. Like,
it looked a lot like that.
It was
slightly larger.
It was just it had these tires that absolutely stank.
They did stink.
You could smell them through the box.
Uh-huh.
You could. And it was just what you had to get people on was like put it on the bench and flex an axle. Like that is what you had to do to make people go like, okay, well that's kind of cool. Like
it's true.
Tell me more.
Yeah, take it out on the rocks, and then people understand.
It really would help get it going too with the community, because they're the ones pushing it and talking about it and growing it. And then from there was a lot more outlets through the social media side of things. So that helped too, because hobby stores didn't really understand the product.
Right. RC Crawler was where that thing had its adolescence, right? Like,
yes.
RC Crawler at the time, when forums were the real only social media option, didn't post them much on our MySpaces at the time. But it was, we had, when that section popped up, the AX10 section popped up. I remember Jason and those guys doing the live build of one of the first AX10s. And it was the amount of people, it was old, terrible quality video back then compared to now. Like at the time, it was amazing. We were all, sitting there watching them build what was coming, because we had been introduced to Axial slightly before with like you said, the release of the beadlocks, the Rocksters, which were, we didn't have 2.2 beadlocks before that. Like we were taking old HPI wheels and cutting them in half and then gluing them back together so they were narrow.
Yep.
And then gluing tires on that. But yeah, RC Crawl, that was where it all kind of grew up. And I remember we had one of our big events in the Midwest, the Midwest Challenge in like 2008, maybe.
Yeah.
I remember you came out to that one, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was a big one. And I remember one of the magazine guys came to that, Matt Higgins, who's still in the industry.
Yeah.
And it was like a big, like, oh, magazine's finally going to pay a little attention to us, huh? Think you're too good for us up to this point. Because, RCC, they had to kind of be their own, the whole media for that section. It was just, it was the only place that was really, it was that type of environment for it.
Yeah, if RCC wasn't there, I don't think the segment would be where it is now, for sure.
I don't disagree. I think that you needed something like that to kind of spur popularity.
Yes.
Right. There was a question from before from Isogen here. He said, what would you consider the top 5 cars that influenced RC? I mean, basically over your time in the industry, let's say, up to current time.
T-Max, of course. Let me think here. What else is there? Baja 5B.
Yeah, that was really that thing just got so many people's eyes, especially from outside the industry.
Oh, definitely. And then the HPIR's 4 line, they were the first to have like a true RTR, I believe, vehicle, touring car vehicle, if I'm not mistaken. That one that didn't get a lot of attention, but it really helped, I think, grow the small scale segment is the RS4 Micro by HPI.
Oh yeah,
also.
HPI, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me think here. What else is there?
I mean, the AX10 has to be.
Yeah, AX10 for sure. That's one of them for sure. And then I'd say
definitely the Ridgecrest.
Ridgecrest.
Sorry. I think that was probably one of the more universally unliked releases.
Yeah, I would say. I'd say the Yeti, as far as for both the 10 scale and 8 scale, even though those weren't the most successful products for the brand, I'd say because those kind of transitioned everything away from just full independent to IFS, and you start to see more IFS vehicles out there now, of course.
Yep.
Even on the scale side for Scale Trail, just to make sure I said that for Josh.
Josh doesn't understand things a lot of the time, Jeff.
But the great thing is now there's a lot of these manufacturers are trying to be more innovative, which is great for the industry. You see all kinds of super cool stuff coming out. Arma's doing some great stuff. We have, Traxxas is still obviously on the cutting edge. You have Associated that's focusing on the drag racing side of things, which is a growing segment, which is great to see. And then touring cars are coming back around again too. People are starting to get in the on-road stuff, which is great too.
I was unaware of that.
That doesn't surprise me at all, Josh. Yeah, you're in a little bubble. You're in a little bubble there. Jeff,
yes.
If there was one product, and this is a question from DK here in the chat, what would you consider to be the biggest? And I don't expect you to answer, but what would you consider to be the biggest misstep by Axial while you were at Axial? Like if there was a product that you would go back and go, I wish we didn't make that, or I wish we didn't make that quite that way. What would you say it would be?
For me personally, I say every single project because there's always room to improve on everything. There's time limits on projects, of course, because it's a business and you have to get a product to market because you have so much invested in it. So you have to get it out there, and it's never the way you want it. So it's never at that level. So there's always room to improve and grow the product. And the best part about that is when that product hits the market, seeing what customers do with the product really inspires companies, product designers to grow that product and make that product better. But that's just me, and that's how I am with anything. Any of the companies I work for, it's always about improving and growing, and it's never at the level that you want it to be when it's released.
Well, I guess that's why you didn't stop at the SCX10 and you went on to make the SCX10 too. There's always something to improve on. And I think that's a really great point and a really great way of answering that question, Jeff, because, you don't have to mention what was that thing? What was that? The Ridgecrest.
Hey, that was just the vehicle itself was.
I understand. Yeah, no, exactly. The body was exceptionally weird, but
I didn't hate the Ridgecrest body. Like it kind of had like that S10 Blazer look.
Well, that explains why you like it, I guess, Josh.
Right. Brian Sherwood, thanks. What was the incentive for Vanquish to produce Axial upgrades? Did Axial give their blessing? That was before I was with Vanquish, but Jeff, you worked with them early on and like established that partnership before parts really started rolling out for Axial kits specifically.
Correct. And that actually plays into my answer to the last question where, vehicles never at the level you want it to be. At that point in time, we were just going forward with releasing the SCX10 again with the Jeep body. And we realized that we couldn't change the axles to what we wanted because of the timelines in place and what we need to do. And we had to get something new to market. So in order to satisfy the customers and fill that need and the gap in the market, we went over to Vanquish and talked to them about making axles for the vehicle. And we already had a relationship with Curry, so we helped them out with connecting with Curry, getting licensing. And so we developed a really good partnership then with Vanquish. And Vanquish did an amazing job with all the option parts. We gave them vehicles a bit early so they can work on design and developing parts for the vehicle. So that really helped a lot. Because then it allowed the customers to basically upgrade it the way that they wanted to for the type of performance that they wanted. And the engineering over at Vanquish was great with the product design and development. So
it really took a
downturn.
It really took a downturn after Josh joined them. 949 Designs, thanks. He wants to let you know, Jeff, that you just made his night by mentioning the Yeti, which I also really liked. I like the Yeti a lot. That was a fun car.
It was such it was a pivotal thing just because of how much it did kind of expand our segment. Like it's still, we called it something that was in our segment, even though it was maybe even a little bit more towards a go fast buggy or something like that. But like, because it had a solid axle and it used so many Axial parts and it was under the Axial name, it just got adopted into it. And it's still, it was a huge platform for upgrading and people still run them.
Yeah they do, which is great to see.
That car came out in what, like
2012
or
no, not that early, 2016 maybe 2015.
No
yes
no. I'm gonna pull up you're gonna make me pull
out your thing, Josh. What's the product you're most proud of? Or actually, what's the product you're most proud of all the stuff you've worked on?
That's a very good question. I'd have to think about that. I'm proud of all of them, but
it's like,
I'd say,
which of your children is your favorite, Jeff?
I'd say honestly being part of the Savage project, because that was kind of like my foot in the door with the R&D department and being able to work with the whole team together and how everybody came together to work on this project was pretty amazing with the timelines that we had and how fast we were able to get it done, and to see how everyone came together as a team. I'd say that one for sure.
Yeah, and it wasn't very pivotal.
June of 2014, by the way.
Oh, so you weren't right. Okay, just to be clear.
I was still. I think we were right in the middle, actually. Price is Right rules, though. I'm right.
Sure.
The picking your favorite project, that one.
Chibs had a question here. He wants to know where the name Axial came from or how it came about. Do you have any insight on that, Jeff?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But we had the whole team at that time together. We were sitting in the conference room. We were just like brainstorming on names. And we wanted to have a name with an A so it'd be listed first with everything. So we went through a bunch of stuff. And ironically, we were going to call the company Element. But we didn't go forward with Element because we started to look into it, and the attorney told us that we would have some pushback from a company based out of Australia. And there's the Element Skateboard Company and they have Billabong. So we didn't go that direction. So Axis came up, and then Brian Kinney, who's been in the industry for years, I think his last position in the industry was at Horizon, and he's left. I think he's got his own business now where he's doing machine parts. He came up with the name, and it was kind of ironic because when we got acquired by Horizon, he was working at Horizon, and we all went over there. Everyone from Axial and Brian was there, and I mentioned, I'm like, hey, that's the guy that came up with the name of the company, and everybody there goes, yeah, we hear that every day. But yeah. That's where the name came from, and it worked out well. Initially it was difficult because a lot of people couldn't pronounce it correctly. A lot of people didn't really understand it. Yeah,
Axel Rath.
Axel Rath. Exactly. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I still know people who call him Raths. Like they got it in their head once, like that's what it is. That's.
And then,
so that's where the name came from.
So do you want to do you have any questions on your side, Josh, about Axial, or do you want to move forward in Jeff's timeline?
We'll jump into let's see. Axial, post Horizon. You were there from only about a year when Horizon was.
Yeah, it was about a year.
So, and then you moved from SoCal to Arizona.
Correct.
And went to work with the team at Redcat.
Correct.
And Gunner here, sorry, I apologize for any of the bad things that I said about Redcat while you were there, Jack. Not really, but for the sake of the interview. But so you joined there as president.
Yes.
So how was that difference in going from the companies you were at to Redcat, which kind of fills a different role in the market, I would say.
Definitely. It was, I saw a lot of opportunity. That's the reason why I went there. Obviously with some challenges because it's the different role in the marketplace, something I had to adapt to myself. But there was a good team in place, worked well with them. We got a lot of stuff accomplished in a period of a year to help the brand grow, rebranding and sites, and just help with the image of the company. A lot of good products. The development team there did a pretty good job with coming out with new products. And they were really focused on trying to create their own little niche in the marketplace with new product, which is great. So it was a good experience for sure.
I think we can all agree that, you could definitely see the pivot that they made when you came on. There was definitely a lot more polish in not just the products, but also in the presentation. And, there was something definitely lacking before you kind of came on board, and you could see when that happened. So
you can still see the effects of that presentation.
Yeah. Because that's one of the things that, I think that Axial was always really good at was the presentation of the product. Really great running videos, great demonstrations. You sort of feel that enthusiast kind of market really oozes out of everything that Axial was doing at the time, certainly when you were there. And you felt that the moment that it came into Redcat. Would you say, was that one of the major sort of influences that you had on them, was bringing that sort of I don't want to say professionalism, but you know what I mean, right? Polish is probably a better word.
Yeah, it's more about focus on the customer experience. And that's the thing. It all starts with everyone within the company thinking about the customer, and anytime that they're focused on making a decision for something, to make that decision based upon what they would think the customer would want, and to make a positive experience for the customer. That comes from the product development side, through developing all the product packaging, through to shipping, receiving, customer service, all the different areas of the business. It's all about the experience. And if an end user has a positive experience with the product, as far as from when they receive the product, they open the box, you're able to get it going, and then they're going to have that connection with the brand, and that's what's important. Especially these days, there's so many other options out there for customers. You want to be able to connect with them. And that's important to know who your customer is too. You have to understand your demographics so you can do the proper job with properly presenting the product to the customer.
Yeah, and the kind of taking it back more towards the Axial time period, there really wasn't an RC, at least from the part of it that I could see or observe of the other areas of RC anyway, that had approached it the way Axial did at the time, with that whole team. As far as everyone has all since called it a lifestyle type brand, or however you want to experience for the customers, that even before the Axial Fest, but specifically after, and as that started going, which that's a whole, the amount of effort and years that went into that isn't something that can just be recreated in a short time or a year. But
no, but
I
think that, and I can't remember exactly, but it may have been a conversation with Jeff that I had at Axial Fest one year, where it was kind of explained to me that this is a return on a return on, not an investment, but a return on experience, I think, or a return on, it was a return on experience, I think that was called.
Yeah, it's a customer experience, the whole event.
Yeah, you want to make sure that people understand that this is all part of like the ecosystem. This is the lifestyle. This is everything that we do, and whether it's licensing from the full size brands, or if it's the truck bodies, or if it's the events that you go to, this is what it all represents. And you could definitely feel that in Axial, and I think that you definitely felt that pivot at Redcat too.
Well, it's all about the people, though. At Axial, people that were there were part of the brand, and they are connected to it. So, when they interact with people pick up on that too. Mm-hmm. They feel their passion, and that really helps. And if you don't have that type of passion in regards to what you do on a daily basis, it doesn't really get, and it impacts the product itself and the brand. I mean, we have people there that are passionate about the brand, and that would stand up for it and fight for things to make things right. So that's
people important. Would never fight or argue over RC cars.
No, I've never seen a fist fight.
Well, that's true.
Not yet. Not over an RC car.
I've not been in the racing side though. So I think
the racing gets pretty.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing entirely.
But yeah, that's I trying to ever, I don't know that ever replicating the feel that was around Axial at the beginning can be
no,
replicated.
Lightning is rarely strikes twice, right?
Right. And that kind of, I wonder, when did that kind of start, that whole thing? I mean, because like when Axial first started, of course, it wasn't really that there, we hardly had events. I think like the first, 2007, like RC Crawler, US RCCA Nationals was Moab, and HPI was the title sponsor.
We were there too.
You guys were there, but like it really hadn't like started to become like, because Axial was kind of that dominating then umbrella over a lot of the events as things progressed, even before the XR10, because 2008 and beyond is when like the MOA craze in a lot of that kind of started to take over. But we still had like the Axial qualifiers. They had you guys had your whole West Coast series, mm-hmm. And which then turned into Axial Fest. And when did that kind of decision decide, or when did it pop up to go from these comp crawler based series or events to just this, let's just have an event where people come
for fun,
walk behind each other on narrow paths? Like
that's an interesting story. What ended up happening, as you mentioned, Josh, we were participating in all these events, and what was happening, there was a shift within the competition side where it got to the point where things became too intimidating for new people to come in, and then the competition started to shrink a bit, and that didn't really work for us because our whole goal is to bring more people into the hobby. And then on top of that, with the West Coast Championships, I had to manage it myself, and the business was growing so much it was difficult to do both. Plus, then we had a lot of our competitors going to the event and rebranding the content as it basically was their event, not using our name in the title of their content. So I was a bit frustrated with it. And then Ronnie came on board. I think he had been there about a year or two. And I had discussions with him, and then he basically said, he's like, so just let me take it and let me come up with some ideas and let me make this work. And then it was his idea to turn it into a customer appreciation event, which we did. And then he had some pretty good ideas for marketing and stuff, and to get more people involved. And we basically then developed a internal team, to start working on the event. And we started to bullet point some areas we wanted to grow and how we wanted to change things. And then from there, we put a lot of time and effort in. We were a small company. Everyone had to pitch in. And there's a lot of stuff you have to do for an event that size. So we worked on it all year. And then after the end of every year, after every event, we would get together and talk about what we could do to grow and improve the event. And that came from us engaging with the customers and talking to people, talking like to you guys too, on how we can always grow and improve the event. And that's what we focus on doing every year, is to make it better. And it seemed to grow every year because of that. So it's pretty exciting.
What was the first year of actual Axial Fest? Was it 2010?
I believe so.
2010. So did you had the first Axial Fest then would have been underneath of your own umbrella before Hobbyco?
Yes, actually there was two or three under Hobbyco, and then one under Horizon. I remember correctly.
That sounds about right.
Hobbyco bought Axial January 9th, 2012, based on random info that I have.
Very useful.
So yeah, you would have had
database.
10 and 11 under your guys's, and then going to Hobbyco, did they see the value in that like right away, or did you have to sell them on what this thing really was?
I think it was pretty good. They saw what we had was working, and they kind of just let us do our thing. Obviously, anytime you get into a corporation like that, there's always things that you have to do to explain and justify. And Axial Fest was pretty simple to justify. We already had the data. But as Hobbyco started to go through and experience some financial challenges, there was some challenges with keeping the event going, and there was some battles we had to fight to keep it going. But we did, and able to work through that. So.
Yeah, and which is great. I mean, the success that event had seen through the years was, again, I mean, pretty incredible to get to experience. But yeah, I always kind of wondered, because those events, like, even though there's so many people that come to them, doesn't necessarily make them a profitable event with the amount of effort that is put in over something like a year or more, if you're really trying to account for all of the time actually spent by all of the people.
Yeah, it's a big job.
Yeah, the ROI, if you basically just did it without accounting for the marketing aspects of the event, then yeah, it was not profitable. But if you were to add in all the marketing side and the aspects of it, then it was definitely profitable. And then with social media growing, it really helped with justifying it too. So there's a lot of great things that we did there to bring in new customers, and so it was great. I mean, and this overall experience is just meeting these people over year and seeing people like kids grow, families grow, Seen generation after generation of the families like participating in the event, and then it was super inspirational for the team. I mean, we put a ton of work into it, but the great part was we would all go back and we'd be just burnt out for a couple of weeks, but we would just be super inspired because we had the opportunity to engage with all these great people that use the product.
And not just in a stock form either. You're seeing what they're doing to modify and change. And, you know, would any inspiration for products or things that you guys would actually put into production actually come from any of these events?
Oh, definitely. That's why we had the, you'd have to bring your vehicle up and it would have to be checked to make sure that it was legal. That really didn't matter. We just did that so we could look at everybody's rig. And so the R&D guys are the guys inspecting the vehicles. So they got an enormous amount of ideas and they had fun just engaging with the customers and just seeing what they were doing with the products. So it was a great experience for them, and it also really helped with our innovation things too.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we talk about marketing for 1 second? There was a question that came through here, and it's from Brian Harrison. He wants to know how the majority of your marketing budget would be spent nowadays because of social media. Obviously, you're not going to be putting a lot of magazine ads in and stuff. So how does that budget get spent, or is there even still a big marketing budget?
Oh, for like in the case of Rebel RC, or in the case of just the industry itself?
In the industry itself, like from your experience, obviously the magazines kind of took a back seat and you've got your own media channels. So like, how are you spending your marketing dollars?
Well, nowadays it really depends on the size of the company and the amount of people they have connected to their social channels, because obviously there's a lot of different things you do with social media with different ads and content and things, as you guys know. And then on top of that, there's affiliates. And then you get affiliates that you basically promote your product and they get a percentage of the sale. There's that side. There's Google Ads. There's YouTube. There's all the different search engines. And then we use Omni channels. There's a variety of different other channels to sell your product, Amazon and so forth. So there's still a lot of things out there to connect with people.
Just a different focus.
It's almost it's harder now even than before.
Yeah.
With trying to decide on all of the methods versus magazine ads, website banners.
That's all we need. That's it. Done.
The marketing guy used to just be
it's actually more cost effective now, and there's more data to make logical decisions. In the past with magazines, you wouldn't know what your reach was or your engagement, and you're paying tons of money for ads and you're not sure if you're getting anything out of it. Now there's so much out there with all the analytics that you can really determine what works for you. You can see what the demographic is that you're connecting with. It's pretty amazing these days. But you kind of lose the personal side of things with the interaction directly with customers unless you're out there, pounding the ground and you're engaging with customers and, people that use your product.
Is that going to be sort of maybe a feather in your cap then with the Rebel RC connection, like with actually having customers in the shop going over their full-size rigs? Is that a better opportunity, do you think, to help sell the product?
Oh, definitely. Anytime you have a customer that comes in getting their vehicle customized and they see that there's an opportunity for them to get an RC car customized like their vehicle, they're going to definitely be interested in that. And considering the amount of money that they're spending.
Yes.
Rebel's facility, I've been to their facility in SoCal, and it's an amazing place.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, Matt and I both drive Jeeps.
If you're looking for micro influencers, I think you found two really great ones right here.
Got a JL and a JT, it's
everything you need.
Yeah, that facility is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So with all you guys know, I talked to RC driver, Greg RC driver, and he has a Gladiator. So
he does have a Gladiator.
It's Jeeps, yeah.
Yep.
It's because we recognize the quality of a American-made vehicle.
and I wanted a big truck, so I decided to get a Gladiator.
You wanted a fake truck? Is that what you said? That ain't no truck I've ever seen.
So Jeff, you had a JK. Are you?
Yeah. What do you got now, Jeff?
Yeah, I still have the JK. Still got to do some more work to it. Obviously, there's always investing.
Yes. Are
The
you going to?
Gladiators are nice,
Okay.
but they're kind of hard to really have fun with off-roading. It's more of an overland style vehicle.
The Gladiator?
It's great
Oh,
for-
I
it's great
agree.
for around town too.
Yeah. Especially when you ruin it with 22s like Josh plans on doing.
Choose with spinners.
If he could get them, he would. He's got the
Made of
worst taste. I
brass.
don't understand.
Uh-huh.
I don't.
But yeah, if you don't, I mean, the full size social media channels for Rebel definitely worth watching as well.
Yeah.
I had recently seen the RC social media side pop up, started looking at it, and connected the dots, and then you had that press release actually came out like last week to a few places, which I had read through, and I was like, wait, what is? And I saw your name. It's like, what are they releasing? And then I went to the website, and now hearing the explanation to all of it comes together and makes sense. But it will be cool to see the two branches of Rebel kind of present together.
Yeah, we're excited about that for sure.
And so, like you were saying, 2 brick and mortar type facilities, because there is the current SoCal and there will be the Texas one.
Correct.
They're converting a portion of that to hobby focused.
Yes. Right now, the location in Laguna Hills, California has product. We're working on expanding, adding more product to that location. Just a matter of creating the space and educating the staff on the product. So it's getting there. We figured the first thing to do would be to get some product in the shop, get the website up, start to get the brand known, and get some equity built with the customer base, and then work on expanding from there. We got the Fort Worth location, which is in the works. So yeah, hopefully by, I'd say, November, we'll have everything aligned and in place and have a good amount of inventory and things. Because as you guys know, there's a lot of shortages within the industry.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a hell of a time to try and stock up a new hobby shop.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit challenging because you want to have all the stuff the customers wants and needs to get going, but it's a challenge because there's some shortages there. But stuff's starting to come in. Manufacturers have done a good job getting product to come in. And it's just, as a dealer, you just have to really watch, once stuff comes in and make sure that you have orders in place and get them filled. So.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And obviously they've got the staff to fulfill an order and get it out without any issue, probably falling into normal day-to-day stuff. Are you tapping any, past industry contacts to help in store, or on, just with some online type stuff, or what? How are you approaching that?
As far as for industry contacts, I mean, I know the different manufacturers, and
I guess I mean more like customer forward type, for like in store, or like help. You're going to do like the building side and all that type of stuff. You're going to kind of work with people just outside of the storefront, just got around. Yeah.
Definitely. And, there'll be some other people that I haven't worked with in the past, or I haven't worked with, that I'm potentially working with. I mean, there's a lot of, from the builder side, there's a lot of great builders out there. And our whole goal is to get them exposure and show the great things that they're doing with products, because then that basically inspires people, and they'll inspire someone to go buy ready to run, and then get into the hobby and want to do their own build. The whole goal is just to keep progression going.
That's great. That's really good.
Yeah. No, it'll be exciting to see that kind of that business model go forward. As far as like offering build packages or pre-built things like that. Just because that's, I mean, obviously, Rebel
that's
now
what
does
they
that
do,
with
right?
full size.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it translates really well,
trickle
because
down.
there are people in the full size world who like to bolt their own stuff on and change stuff and modify, and then there are those that just like to drop it off and pick it up.
True. And the same also with the hobby side too.
Yep.
And if it just try to make it easier for people. I'm sure there's a lot of people that watch your show and follow your guys' content that in the same position. They love what you do, but they don't have the time to do the build. So they want to buy just the finished product.
Jeff, I also don't have time to do the build. So
Right. I just like buying the tools.
I like the parts because they're shiny.
They're shiny, and then you spray them with brown paint, and you say it's weathered. Like, I am artist.
Well, if you ever need anybody to help with some of those builds, let me know. I'm more than happy to
for sure.
get some cross promotional stuff going. We'll get that going for sure.
And if you guys ever want to sell any of your stuff on our site, you're more than welcome to.
All right.
Matt's got a half track behind himself there. Do you have a steam powered section?
Yeah. Is there a 6x6? Do you guys do a lot of 6x6s? Because seems to be my focus lately. I don't understand why, but if you want, guys should do an XJ 6x6. Yeah. Just saying, it'd be a big seller. I know what I have.
Yeah.
It's the future right there, sitting on your shelf.
Jeff, I was glad you got back to me and reached out and wanted to chat about it. It was, glad to see you back in the full swing into the industry.
Are you still in the Arizona area, or did you are you back in California?
Arizona.
Wow.
Are you planning on staying, or are you thinking about coming back?
No plans to move at this point.
No plans to go back to California, huh?
Not really.
Not a whole lot of going back to California.
It's close though. It's close. So
it's close.
Yeah,
that's
not too bad.
Night Customs is in the chat here. He says he's getting a Jeep. So if Rebel need an Australian division, just saying,
right? Congratulations, James, on the new vehicle.
Yeah, he did a nice job on that, didn't he?
Even though Josh doesn't like it, it's still good.
Josh has no taste, though. We've established that. Mm-hmm. Jeff, do you have any parting words? Anything you want to impart to the viewers who are watching at home, or what's the website again, just so everyone's got it there?
Rebel-RC.com. Just go and check out the website and sign up on the website so you get any updates in regards to different things that we're doing, events that we're attending, and follow us on social media. We have Instagram and Facebook set up now. YouTube will be doing down the road here. We just have to build up some more content to get that going, and just stay tuned. We have some exciting new stuff coming probably around September, October. So I look forward to being able to engage with customers direct and seeing everybody at events again. And it's great just to spend time with you guys again. And, I've been contacting, and people have been reaching out to me from within the industry itself. And it's great talking to everybody and reminiscing and just talking about going forward and growing.
That's great. Is there an Instagram yet?
Yes, there's Instagram.
Okay.
Awesome.
So
we have Instagram and Facebook, and if you go to our website, bottom of our website, just click on the icons and it'll lead you directly to our social media pages.
Perfect. One final question from me, and this is very important, Jeff. I really hope that this is something that you can say yes to. Have you seen the movie Flying Cars?
I watched the preview.
You know what? That's close.
That's better than most. Not a fan?
The industry, that's, I guess it's good for the industry. I guess it brings some different people and new people, but
I guess.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I really like that movie, though. I'm kind of scared that they're not.
Yeah. Well, think about it. Look at all the other sports that are out there, because I consider Woody kind of a sport. You have the extreme sports. There's BMX movies. There's cheese ball surfing movies and motocross movies. So.
If what we're doing is a sport, it kind of makes me a professional athlete.
I'm kind of hoping that I can go to the Olympics with this.
Yeah, me too.
2024 in Paris, radio control rock crawling.
Curling's an Olympic sport. It's a Canadian proud sport. So, it's just about as much exercise almost.
Exactly. If that's possible, anything's possible.
Yeah. Well, cornhole. Look at cornhole.
Oh, maybe cornhole. Yeah. World Series. There's a World Series.
You can have a beer in your hand.
I don't know. I like the idea of the Olympic medal for RC rock crawling. I really honestly feel like maybe scale building. It'll be like
Scale, yeah.
concourse event. That's what I can do. Thank you so much, Jeff. It's been a real pleasure.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. We'll talk
it's
to you
so
soon.
great to talk to you again. Take care.
Have a good night.
Bye. Bye-bye. How awesome was that?
There we go. Well, I switched back. I only have Jeff now. So no, it was good.
There's some nice little tidbits of
Jeff.
history.
I still have just. So yes, absolutely. There's so much that goes back and into the. He could probably talk, for 2 days about just industry stories and things like that. But also, Jeff is good at not, like we talked about there. It's a very small world in the RC industry.
It is.
You can't light a match and walk out the door of a place and go open later that you're going to.
Yeah. There's a lot of politicking, I'm sure, and he's got to be PC about his exits on and make sure that he keeps a business possibility in place. And this sounds like a pretty interesting idea, and it makes a lot of sense because let's be fair, you get a lot of those accessories, like all your stuff that you add onto your truck, not you, but people like me add onto their truck afterwards, that are the licensees, that are the you have it on your full size truck and you want it on your tiny truck. That sort of,
especially with something like Rebel, who
Yeah.
has a lot of their own parts.
well, yeah. And do you think maybe that you could see Jeff doing that, like taking some of that inspiration and actually manufacturing these smaller parts?
Jeff is obviously no stranger to going from a concept to a saleable part.
Yeah.
Like
He's done that a number of times before, so
And-
this is definitely something that I can see them doing.
he obviously knows any of the contacts in that side, no matter where it's at. Like,
Yeah.
So absolutely, if they want to produce something, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And so I have to imagine, and he was saying like they have some stuff coming September, October. Like we're going to see
it.
There's no way we're not going to see Rebel RC branded parts.
Makes a lot of
coming
sense.
this year. If we don't see them this year, it will only be because of supply chain issues that have already, been delaying projects.
It's a good thing we both have Jeeps,
I'm telling you,
right?
Maybe they'll get that SKU number mixed up and get it dead right.
Yes.
Like,
Huzzah! Yeah. Paul's 1816 said comp stance in the Olympics.
Like synchronized swimming.
Oh, that was so weird. Did you watch any of that? That was so creepy.
Floor routines, just walking around stancing.
There were a few super chats that came in through there, and I didn't thank them because I didn't want to interrupt Jeff. But Dark Horse Garage, Brian Harrison, 949 Designs, and Ozzy RC Queen, thank you.
Gunner super chatted and made me. How do you feel about the way Josh talks about Redcat?
You didn't ask that one, did you?
I said it.
Did you?
I said it close enough. Kind of.
No,
I mentioned it. Close enough.
Ozzy RC Queen, your question about asking Spectrum if they can incorporate audio description into their products for people who are visually impaired definitely makes a lot of sense. I will pass that along because I do have some contacts at Spectrum, so I will definitely ask that question for you. Because some of these screens, they're pretty small. They're hard to read. I've got a pretty good vision. They're hard to read at the best of times for me. So having some sort of audio call out for some of the menus, that wouldn't be a difficult thing to integrate.
Especially with how they can do firmware updates on there. I think the biggest thing would be that they can they play audio on those radios? I know they have like a piezo for like the beep, but
some of them they can.
Oh, like the color screen, Android-based ones?
DX6R, that one's Android-based, so you could do that.
Oh, and some of them had like headphone jacks too, don't they?
I think so, or they can play MP3s or whatnot.
Yeah. So, Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah,
Rebel
definitely,
RC
definitely.
just as it as it grows up, as we'll say. They've got a parent company with plenty of resources, and Jeff obviously has been around, so
Yep. Yep. They've got a lot of Vanquish stuff on their website, by the way.
I had set them up as a dealer last year.
Oh, wow.
But like we knew, or like you and I have both crawled with Bond.
Yes.
And the Axial guys at Axial Fest before.
Yes.
So I was just like, I don't know if they're selling it or they're just, just like, I know them and their store and they're an industry contact. Like, yes, I will just set them up.
Why not?
And then I will ask for an account with the same discount for your site. No.
A little tit for tat,
Yeah. No, I've never done that. So.
No, doesn't sound like something you wouldn't do.
No, it's not something that I've done.
So what else is going on? Yeah, you'd stay in your vein, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Budget build. Let's talk budget build because we haven't talked about that yet. We have some time to kill here before I'm sick of you.
Before we turn into a pumpkin.
So yes. You and I are pretty much even keel now, I think, because I've got like $9 kept over from my 2 previous weeks now. So
yes, and I think that I have the same. I think I have like
$9.05
left.
$8 or something.
What? Do I need to go to my spreadsheet again? My other spreadsheet.
You could if you wanted. I don't think it may be 905.
That's what I just said.
I don't really listen to you.
Yeah. 905. Exactly like what I said.
Exactly like what you said. But do you have one of these? I've still got.
I can't believe the response.
People like weird.
People are like, that's
weird
awesome.
Stuff.
I'm like, what are they looking at? Is everybody trolling me today? Like,
I mean, the Betty body is nice and all, but it's not that great. There's so many pieces in here that I'm not going to be able to use. Like the radiator. Or, well, I can use the dashboard. Oh, it comes with both left and right-hand drive.
Put them both in. Student teacher style.
Put one at the back. Put one at the back going the other direction. It's even got the safari top. There's all kinds of great stuff in here. It's going to be a fun little build. Yeah, and I said in the episode that in future episodes, I'll show how to do some of the more like strengthening and stuff, so it'll all stay together. I mean, at this scale,
you're actually gonna finish it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've got a limited amount of time, but I'm definitely gonna finish it. Yeah, there's a whole bunch more parts, so I want to finish it now. I'm super stoked on this. I know that the Fun Haver has been, sort of, I put that on the back burner because there's been so many releases lately, so many things going on in the RC world that I've been sort of like, something's got to give. So I put that on the back burner, but I'm going to pull that out in the next couple of days here and get back on that. I told you already, I was thinking about going and making my own cage to make it work a bit better on that chassis.
Yeah, getting rid of the gatekeeper cage.
Gatekeeper cage is too narrow. It's not working.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not the right shape for that. It's never the A pillars and all that stuff are just never gonna.
It's never gonna match up. So I might as well just.
You're gonna do it. You're never. Yeah, you do a nice body, and it's just never gonna sit right on that cage. It's like
I'll just braze up my own. That's it. Done.
Yep.
I'll need my guy at. I need Andre to send me some stuff from Scale Metal Supplies, so I've got all the right tubes and stuff.
Yeah. No. Exactly. I ordered a bunch of DOM tubing the other day as well.
Nice.
So,
but
no, I think
SCX24
with all the effort you're doing there.
SCX24. So what well, obviously we're not going to talk about what our next steps are and where we're spending money next, but there's some big money items that we're going to have to try to figure out how to fit into the budget.
Yeah, I talked in the video about a servo. Obviously, I talked about a motor. Neither of those things are great in the stock car.
No.
And it's just so they're both going to need to be done. That's one thing. We also have a week coming up that's the free week, so DIY week, whatever. So that takes that takes a time frame out of it. Yep. I've got some plans for that already.
Yeah, foam interior.
That zero foam. Like, why won't I'm going to add an interior?
You're probably not going to add an interior.
I'm not going to add an interior. Spoiler alert.
I'm going to get one in there. I'll fit one in there somehow. I've actually, for all intents and purposes, I've actually added space because of the cage on the back. And yes, the body's sitting a little high right now, but it's going to come down. But I've got all kinds of room back there to hide all kinds of stuff. Like a battery and the ESC and all that other stuff.
I just can't. Every time you hold that up, I just can't.
Yes, you can. Just take another look at it. Here. Just take another look. There we go.
It looks just like the forward control. What? I don't even know what the hell
you don't even know what it is.
F109.
It's a 101. It's a 101. FC 101. Anyway, Josh's plan: larceny. I stole these parts. So
and
great.
You could too. No. God.
Oh, should I paint it orange just to troll you even harder? Oh, man. I didn't want to. I was going to do something a little more traditional, but now I think I might have to. And then I'm going to weather it, obviously. Oil dot method.
Like mascara for the ladies.
Or anybody.
Really. Or, like, as they say.
Tim RCC, what about the RC PCs? Good question.
Good question.
I'm waiting on Josh, and I've been waiting on Josh for months.
Yes. No, those will be basically ready to go soon. You just have to film it for the most part.
You just need to film it? Are you that close?
Just film. Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
So
I don't know if I believe you, but all right.
Win some, you lose some. So either way.
Oh no, stabby Josh. Matt, I shouldn't work during these broadcasts. I was putting decals on a new truck, and I got to the third one before realizing I didn't take the film off the body. I've been there. I did that once too.
Only 3 coming though. Only 3 on.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That's a win. That's a win.
It's not bad.
So, you know what? You noticed soon enough. So
Moose Jaw. Close. How many squares close is Josh from filming the RCPC? How many squares, Josh? Did those panels ever get done? Are you done with those yet? Oh, dear. That's a lot of squares.
42.
What's that truck on the shelf between the JK and the 3-wheeler?
He must be talking about you. I don't have any JK.
JK and the 3-wheeler? What JK?
Do you have a JK?
Oh, are you talking... What? What's he talking about?
I don't know.
There's the JK. No, that's a XJ.
That's the XJ.
I don't have a JK.
I don't know either.
I'm going to need some help with that one.
Oh, is he talking about my Ripper, you think? And the 3-wheeler?
Oh, maybe.
If you're talking about that on my channel, then that is the CEN F450 that's been bro-dozered and squatted.
It's stupid. It's so gross. The RC PCs are already out of date. Well, Joke's on you, Gringo Bandito. They were out of date when we built them.
Joke's on you. You still can't buy any of the parts that they have. They're worth more than when we started.
That's true. We could have sold these at a profit.
Yeah. Oddly enough. Unlike any RC build that we've ever done previously.
Yes, all of those are sold at a loss.
Yeah. Massive loss.
Huge loss. Mostly because you can't put a price on time.
Right.
That's the one thing you never get back in this hobby. And anytime you put a part on, it's just like the real full-size stuff. It loses half its value because it's assumed to be used.
Exactly.
That's a problem. Anytime I look at a used truck, if it's like cruddy, I don't want it. I would just replace all that stuff.
For me, I do buy a lot of used trucks, especially if they're things that it is specifically the time you're buying, basically, which is in the cases is like the custom chassis stuff. That's you're buying somebody's time.
Yeah.
There, because
for that stuff, yes,
the chassis itself has got $50 to $80 worth of steel in it. If it's good DOM tubing or something like that, and a chassis, like it's not that much, but you'll pay, $300, $400, $800 for a good chassis. So
yeah,
that's what you're paying for. And yeah, those are the good ones to scoop up.
Max, no, we have not used the RC PCs because it was an exercise in actually building. That was the challenge.
Yes.
The point of them was to see if we could do it. And the answer is yes, we could. We did. We can. And they will get used to be benchmarked. And then they will get used again when they're delivered back to EVGA for them to use them in promotional stuff and trade shows and all of that. So there was always an end goal in that regard.
Yeah. We both, Matt came to hit the end goal earlier with I'm sending mine back to EVGA, and I'm just like, yeah, that sounds like
that's a good idea.
And
it's not because I don't know
what else I'm going to do with a 64-inch long PC.
It's mostly just because it takes up so much space that I want it out of here.
That's exactly it. I had this goal before. I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna hang it on the wall above my desk at work, and then I'll just actually use it because it's a good, powerful PC.
It's a good PC. Yeah.
And now I'm just like, it's too big to put on the wall up there.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it'll be something pretty cool for them to talk about and have in their shop. So, yeah, it's gonna be good. Oh, Ian Turbot or Turbo TT, we'll never know for sure. Have to thank you, Matt. I'm getting a Loops RC body and chassis in 6 weeks thanks to your input. Excellent. That's fantastic. Loops is amazing. They make some really cool
He's
stuff.
got some interesting ones.
Yep. Harley is cooler. It's questionable, Ben.
We know.
Questionable.
We know. It's fine.
I'd like to check your sources on that.
I've done the research.
If it's his mom, forget it. Night Customs, Mr. James wants to talk more about the Olympics. Let's talk about some Olympic events
that we could see RCing.
Yeah. Well, obviously, rock crawling.
Dremlin.
Yeah.
Dremlin.
Professional Dremlin. Actually, well, it's top-rated amateur, right? You're not a professional in the Olympics.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be paid. So yeah, Dremlin, definitely in there.
Weathering.
Let's see. Weathering.
Yeah, weathering. That's very subjective, so there'd be a lot of judging.
Exactly. Just like they're going down to the hundredths on dives. I'm just like, really?
Yeah.
That was an 8. That was a 9.84.
Yeah.
Not a 9.85.
Yeah.
Anything. Okay. Sure.
Waterproofing. The quality of your own waterproofing. They went for the double balloon technique. Oh, Night Customs says it has to be a physical activity, so weathering is out. Okay, well, Ultra, obviously.
The Ultra 5K.
Yeah,
That
Ultra
sounds
5K.
awfully actual athleticness though. So
So you're out.
Veto. Like,
Yeah, you're just gonna. What's that? I think when they decided not to go, when Russia and U.S. Boycotted. So in a boycotted year, you're just going to boycott the Ultra. You're not going to go.
Yeah, the Ultra. Like, no, that doesn't count. Synchronized body painting. There you go.
It can be taken two different ways, I believe. Synchronized styrene fab. That's a good one.
I think just the actual jumping and like it'd be like the comp pose. It'd just be the mock comp course. So you have to go from gate area to gate area, posing at each one. The little jump down move. Like, he almost stuck the landing, but he used the radio as radio touched the rocks.
They actually did use an RC car in the javelin, discus, and hammer throw. They'd plop it in the thing, and then it would come back.
I saw that they were doing that with
soccer balls too.
Soccer. Yeah, it was like a VW looking or an Audi or something like that.
It was like a big one too. It was like a 5th scale or something.
Yeah, it was 5th scale-esque. It's probably an X Max underneath of it.
Oh yeah, cool.
And so
the house jumping.
House jumping.
It's the flying cars of the Olympics. Oh my God, that'd be so great.
Fleeing the scene of plywood theft. Carrying a sheet of plywood from a construction site.
In your Ford Ranger.
Go. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
So many.
So many good ones. That's great, guys. Thank you.
TRX4 bench pressing.
It's like the deadlift. They're just like, oh, you could do that with the TRX 4000.
Yeah.
That competitor's broken both his arms.
The winner does not get a gold medal, though.
It's a brass medal.
Obviously.
So we have to still do the scalies, which we haven't done yet, by the way.
I know.
We've got a lot of things on the go, unfortunately, and the list keeps getting longer.
Yes. Oh man. Well, it was a good episode. It was nice to have Jeff on.
Yep, definitely. Thanks everybody for watching, and thanks to Jeff for being a part of this tonight. It's really great. Check out rebel-rc.com. And I'm going to thank Evil Tom, Gunnar Nissen, BT, Sam's Garage, Southside RC, Stabby Josh, Dark Horse Garage, Brian Harrison, 949 Designs. Thanks for the surfboard, by the way. If you missed it, we did that at the beginning. We did mail call. And Aussie RC Queen. Thanks, guys.
Gunnar Nissen, Brian Sherwood, Isogen, BT, and it is not letting me scroll.
Yes.
But
bedroll tossing. As long as that bedroll's
firewood bundling,
speed soldering, team airbrush cleaning. Well, Josh will never get his clean, so it's an automatic loss. DQ.
All right.
Good night, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll see you again next week. What are you building on Friday, Josh? Another Blackfoot grasshopper, maybe?
I don't know.
I
do have that MST front wheel drive kit that has the Civic hatch body for it, but Moose Jaw still has that body. I'm not sure if I want to build it yet. I might wait until he's got the body done, which I'm not in a rush for. So, because I don't know what I'm going to do with the Civic hatch front wheel drive on road car after I'm done with it.
You're going to build it and sell it. Professionally built.
I don't know if I can sell it. see.
Put the body on a
We'll see.
crawler.
All right. All right.
See you next
Later,
week,
everybody.
guys. Love you. Bye.
Bye.